On December 3rd, in the year of 1994, the world was shocked and amazed by Sony's brand new product, the PlayStation, selling 102.4 million units at launch. 7 years later, in 2001, Microsoft released their own console, known as the Xbox. Through many years, these companies released many gaming consoles, with each console being more advanced than the last. According to according to Insider Intelligence, there are about 2.9 billion people worldwide who engage in digital video games each year, whether it be via console, computer, or mobile devices. Out of all of the consoles, none can come close in comparison to Sony's recently released PlayStation 5 and Microsoft's recently released Xbox Series X. These two consoles are the most popular because of their revolutionary hardware and the company's long history and community that they have built over the years. With Sony and Microsoft being the two companies who designed the most cherished, advanced, and popular consoles known to man, people will naturally compare the two. Topics of comparison can range from the console's user interface to hardware to the games played that you can, or I'm sorry, Topics of comparison can range from the console's user interface to hardware to the games that you can find exclusively on each console. Today, I'm going to put the two consoles head to head and tell you why the PlayStation 5 is better than the latest Xbox Series X. At the time of this speech, both consoles have been released to the public for at least a year. And with it being 2022, the technology has greatly progressed from the last consoles both companies have released. Even though the Xbox Series X has slightly better hardware, specifically a better graphics processing unit, a better solid state drive, which is the amount of internal storage a console can have. Despite these mild differences, both Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 both have very similar hardware within the consoles. The different controllers for the consoles, on the other hand, are pieces of hardware that are totally different. While the newest while the newest Xbox controller do have vibration feedback in the triggers as well as being the more comfortable controller to the public, there is no comparison when putting it up against the PlayStation's DualSense controller. This controller comes with incredible haptic feedback, which means the controller exerts force, vibration, and motions to the user, giving a more immersive experience. This technology is shown mainly in the triggers located in the back of the controller. Unlike the Xbox Series X controller, the triggers on Sony's DualSense controllers are adaptive, meaning that that the triggers will have different tension levels. The DualSense controller always also includes a built-in speaker, microphone, and touchpad, all things that its rival, which is the Xbox Series X controller, lacks. While the haptic feedback in the DualSense controller is what puts Sony's new console over Microsoft's, or one of the reasons why Sony's PlayStation 5 is better than Microsoft's Xbox Series X. The games is what makes the I'm sorry. The games is what makes the feedback work. Specifically exclusive Sony games. Marshall Honor, I can't pronounce his name. Marshall Honorf Honorf wrote, the Xbox Series X assumes you will pick up the same games you left off on the Xbox One. It will want to optimize the performance across the board for all favorites. PS5, on the other hand, has a bevy of exclusive titles that launch alongside the new console. He later wrote in the same article, it's hard to deny that the PS5 has the most exciting game selection, just in terms of first party games. Spider-Man Miles or end quote. Spider-Man Miles Morales is a very well-known PlayStation exclusive which sold 4.1 million units on launch day and by July 18th of 2021 has sold more than 6.5 million units. Compared to Microsoft, who didn't have any exclusive games at launch. Sony also has many new old beloved many Sony also have many new and old beloved exclusive games such as God of War, Last of Us, Uncharted, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Ratchet and Clank, while Xbox provides older titles that can be played in higher quality. While controller hard while controller hardware and games are important components to making a good console, there is still one huge element that goes into the overall experience of these two consoles, and that is the software, specifically the user interface, otherwise known as UI. The UI can be described as what accepts the input commands that are entered by the controller, or it can be seen as the main home screen of the controller of the console. I cannot read. Sony also has an upper hand on this too. This is because the PS5 UI is easier to manage, a more streamlined design, and is more intuitive. Microsoft chose to go with a more menu-based UI, which convolutes the home screen. Microsoft also chose to include non-disposable ads on the UI, which is unnecessary and further clutters the home screen. In conclusion, there are many reasons why people. I'm sorry. In conclusion, there may be some reason why people would choose to purchase the Xbox Series X over the PS5, but with the information I provided with you today, I hope you can see why those reasons don't come close to why you should buy a PS5 over an Xbox Series X. The more advanced hardware in Sony's DualSense controller gives the player a way more immersive experience compared to the standard Xbox Series X controller due to the haptic feedback. This feature can work on many games, but not to the extent of the many highly rated exclusive Sony games that was released either with the console or shortly after. And the clean and easy to use home screen found on the PlayStation 5 is also a great reason to choose the console over its rival, the Xbox Series X.